Hey, I'm Guy.
I'm John.
It's our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. Give this video a like.
Check out the podcast also below in the description.
It was a devastating day, John, for the Philadelphia Eagles. We mentioned it earlier in the podcast. Their number one receiver pick got hurt, Jalen Reagor, making a tackle on their new quarterback's interception in practice. Jalen Hurts was practicing because Carson Wentz is somehow day-to-day with a lower body injury, hockey style.
You know, I almost feel bad for the guy in the sense of this is not normal. You know, we talked for, it felt like 2 years about Jimmy Garoppolo and the health, and we don't even mention it anymore. Like, if you're a Rams fan, you don't even think about Jared Goff. Russell Wilson's never missed a game. You know, most of these quarterbacks, like Drew Brees, the craziest part about last year, that thumb injury, guys always plays. Remember Eli had a stretch where he didn't miss. Remember when they made Geno Smith the starter and he hadn't missed a start, however many. Guy,
and then Eli came back like a week or two later.
I kind of feel like he snake bit in the sense of snake bit where this is just him. It is kind of nuts. Like, it is not normal. Like when I saw Lamar Jackson had a tweaked something in, growing, I understood it. Like, is Lamar Jackson going to get hurt in the first 5 years? Wouldn't you say it's a lock? He's going to get in. He's just going to get tackled weird. When you run a lot, Michael Vick got hurt a lot. RG3, like runners, I don't even think that's unnormal. Like, that's part of the package. When you're quarterback, Carson Wentz is your prototypical kind of modern day pocket quarterback because he's mobile. Guy, he's fucking hurt. And I understand that the Clowney hit. I don't think Clowney was trying to hurt him, and he got a concussion. There's a randomness to that. I'll give you that, but it still happened to him. And then he can't even get through a training camp with a lower body injury.
Rap sheet said minor soft tissue injury. It's considered minor. So he said minor twice, which is like saying honestly too many times, right? Like, honestly, man, honestly, no, it's fine. It's like, all right, you said honestly. If you say honestly once, you're being honest. Maybe. If you say honestly twice, now I know you're lying because you're saying too many honestlys. Saying the word minor twice in a 2-sentence tweet, he said minor twice. Makes me think he's overcorrecting.
Well, Adam Schefter tweeted about Derwin James.
To be aware of.
Derwin James left practice with a hamstring.
Yeah.
He's getting an MRI, yet to be determined if it's significant. I thought Gottlieb had a really good tweet. Any injury regarding Derwin James is significant because he's their best player on their team.
That was a good tweet.
I think anything with Carson Wentz is significant, right? I think that I would, and even more than Derwin James, because I think Derwin would tell you, I fucking broke my foot last year. It was a freak deal. I pulled a hamstring. Like, it's not, let's pump the brakes a little bit. I'm not injury prone, and maybe he'll turn out to be, maybe he won't. Carson at this point in time, like, I'm sorry. Like, every time Carson doesn't immediately get off the deck, what's everyone watching the game thinking in the back of their head? Like, to me, isn't he the number one guy in the league right now? Because Tony Romo became that. Here we go again. Remember, for like a 3-year period, and every time he went out, and it was always like, clavicle.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. To me, he's old now, but a Big Ben, it probably kind of feels that way, right?
Yeah. He's the number one guy in the league right now, I think.
Well, because he's an MVP candidate, we think, when he's healthy, right? So that's the other part of this is like. I don't think this is a Super Bowl.
They can't hit you. They can't hit you in practice.
Well, apparently they're hitting in practice. Why is Jalen Reagor trying to make a tackle on a practice interception?
Well, I think he's a football player. Instincts.
It's probably why they love him, John.
If I was Doug, I'd be like, get out! To me, that's
game
one of those.
Where you like they throw like a. I was watching. Well, there was a game now where they like spin something and then whoever it points at, everyone else runs, and that person, I don't know, like throws something at people. But I was watching Grown Ups the other day. You know, Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, David Spade, and they play this game where they shoot an arrow into the air and then they all scatter, and it ends up coming down in Rob Schneider's foot. Rob, actually, pretty funny stand-up special on Netflix. That to me is what every offensive coach wants their players to do when there's a pick. Just go the other way, run the other direction. Yeah. Don't try to make a tackle.
The problem is the defense always feels like they're getting screwed because they can't hit the quarterback, so they go ape shit, right? When you've been out of practices, when there's a pick, they go nuts.
Yeah, so it gets personal just like, for the offensive guys.
Yeah, and it feels like they're running on the field. It's kind of mayhem, right? honestly,
Let him have
picks
it.
in an NFL game are pretty like just cut and dry. If
Here's
the
what
guy's
we
got
know.
room, he runs.
If Jalen Hurts starts games for the Eagles this year,
What over under 0.5 games started by Jalen Hurts this year, which is a problem. And I think I was thinking about this today when I saw that he got hurt. I think this is why Howie would say, "Listen, we paid him. He's under contract because we thought this guy could be a franchise quarterback." And I think all of us would go, he clearly has the talent to be a franchise quarterback. When he's on the field, he's a franchise quarterback. But he's proven that you have to have a backup plan. They had to have a backup plan last year because their backup quarterback, remember, broke his wrist in training camp. They had to convince a guy off the couch, and they ended up giving him $4 million. And what happened to him? He ended up playing in the playoff game with I think a torn hamstring. Remember, he got injured, but he played through it. Josh McCown. Mm-hmm. They did not want to have that happen. Now, I think the other angle on this is like the problem for them is Jalen good enough to be an NFL starting quarterback for a guy that's probably going to be forced into some action when Carson goes down.
Right.
Is that contract?
I don't think not right. Not right
now.
Do
you think that contract, if he's always hurt, just they didn't really have a choice?
I don't think you have a choice. I can't kill him for it. I mean, you draft a guy, you spend a high pick on him. He is everything you thought he was going to be as a player, right?
Yeah.
What do you do? I don't really think you have a choice.
Well, it's like you won a Super Bowl on his watch when he was on the sideline.
I know.
Right?
It's really tough.
Did you see what happened with them with Jason Peters? So Andre Dillard goes down.
Right.
Jason Peters they had signed because Brandon Brooks had torn his Achilles in the offseason. So the natural move is they had signed Jason Peters to just play guard because he knows the scheme and they thought he could transition. Well, Andre Dillard tears his pec, and where do they go? Well, Jason, move out to left tackle. And he goes, well, you signed me to play guard.
Pay me more money?
Pay me more money. And I was like, he's got a point, right? I think he was just like, I'm not moving to left tackle.
Has there ever been a hold in or a hold out on a guy that just signed a contract?
I don't know. But is he right? Because I think he kind of is. I think it's a tough spot for the Eagles.
I mean, yeah, he's right. Yeah. But no, not really. But he's not right, but he has all the leverage in the world to make himself right. So
because he can just say, I'm not playing left tackle without a raise. When I was your left tackle,
wouldn't that be something? A guy who's holding out, he's just playing a different. He's not actually not playing. He's just playing a different position.
Pretty funny.
Like you got to walk a contract out to the huddle for him to go to left tackle.
Them and the Niners have an injury vibe. I don't know what it is. They do have felt a little snake bit the last couple of years of just guys. Now. They keep making the playoffs. Unlike the Niners, their division was really shitty. That's why they got in last year. But I think they proved the Eagles are a good example for the Niners of like, there is a line of diminishing returns. Like you can only overcome so much. And unlike the Eagles, the Niners won't have a stretch where they're playing the Redskins, the Cowboys, and the fucking Giants 5 times in 4 weeks or whatever.
Well,
right?
One thing, but you can't have your quarterback be a part of that.
Well, Carson did play. Everyone likes to push back because Carson did start 16 games last year. The problem is he made it through 5 minutes of a playoff game, which freak deal. But
I understand why you bet on him. I bet on him. You bet
I like the player. I enjoy watching him.
We are Carson Wentz fans in terms of like we bet on them. We like them. We pick them. We watch them. John worked for them, but I don't think they have as much wiggle room as the 49ers have. Now, you would counter, well, their defense is going to be pretty good, and they, say what you want. Like, is Alshon back from his foot yet?
That's a good question.
D-Jax, I don't think they've got a ton of room for error. Now, they do have Doug. Like, the Niners have a great play caller. But they don't have Foles or a version of Foles. They have a rookie quarterback.
Yeah. Who's
backup quarterback.
I just didn't like Jalen Hurts that much as an NFL prospect. Yeah. Like I just didn't think he was an NFL player.
Well, to me, if he's gonna be one, it wouldn't happen right away. But I don't know. Maybe they'll. Is Doug just? The other thing is like, is Carson in and out? If he's out, then you just change your offense. But that's not the case here, right?
Didn't they do that? Didn't they do that for Foles?
They did.
Yeah. So they've proven. They are pretty flexible.
But that's different than like, we need you this week, but next week we're going back to Carson, or we think Carson's a game-time decision and he's not playing, right? Did you spend the whole week doing it? Have you spent a month doing it? or is it just spot starts here and there? I mean, can you change your offense if it's just?
Yeah, to me, if Carson Wentz is missing games, they're in trouble. They're in major trouble. I mean, it's just that simple.
Let us know what you think. I mean, how can you disagree with that in the comments below?